Have you ever wondered where people go after they leave this world? What happens to those we love who are suddenly no longer with us? It's a question that spans centuries, cultures, and religions, but for many, it still remains unanswered. Perhaps you've felt the absence of a loved one and wondered if they are at peace, if they still watch over us, or if they continue to participate in our lives in some invisible way. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover now could completely transform your outlook on the afterlife and bring a comfort few imagine. It's possible since the time of Chico Xavier. Brazil and the entire world have been touched by messages from beyond, transmitted through the psychography of one of history's most respected mediums. Among these spirits who guided and inspired his works, Emmanuel stands out, a spiritual guide who dedicated his life to helping the incarnate understand the mysteries of life and death. He didn't just speak of spiritual theories, but shared practical teachings, messages of comfort and guidance that had direct application in the daily lives of those seeking meaning and hope. His words, transmitted by Chico Xavier, reveal details about the spiritual world, describe plans and paths that spirits travel, and help create a connection with those who have passed. But what did Emmanuel really reveal about the dead? Where are they, and what are they doing right now? This isn't just a question of curiosity. It's a question that deeply touches the hearts of everyone who has ever lost someone, and seeks answers that go beyond what meets the eye. Emmanuel's messages suggest that death is not an endpoint, but a transition, a new stage of existence, full of learning, love, and opportunities for spiritual evolution. And most impressively, these revelations remain more relevant than ever, offering comfort and understanding for the difficulties of the modern world. Imagine, for a moment, that those who have passed away are not simply absent, but actively participating, albeit invisibly, in our daily lives. That they continue to grow, learn, help, and even send us subtle signals to guide our choices. Have you ever felt an inexplicable presence or had the feeling that a loved one was by your side, even though they weren't physically present? According to Emmanuel, these experiences are not coincidences. They are part of a reality that few can fully understand, but which is closer than we imagine. And it's not just about comfort. It's about deep understanding. What you'll discover next isn't just about the dead, but about how we can relate to them, how we can learn from their journeys, and apply those lessons to our own lives. Stay with me, because every detail Emmanuel shared is a piece of this puzzle that connects the spiritual world to our own, revealing a reality that goes far beyond what the human senses can perceive. In the next few minutes, we'll delve into Emmanuel's messages and explore where the spirits who have already left the physical plane truly are. We'll understand what they do, how they continue to evolve, and how their invisible presence can still influence our daily lives. But before delving into these details, it's important that you open your mind and heart to see the world from a different perspective, one that blends faith, knowledge, and a deep reflection on existence. Have you ever stopped to wonder where spirits go after they leave their physical bodies? For many, death is an absolute mystery, a final point that brings to a close all the stories and relationships we've built throughout life. But what if I told you that, according to Emmanuel's messages, everything continues in ways you may never have imagined? What you're about to discover now may surprise you and completely transform the way you understand life, death, and the evolution of the soul. Stay with me until the end, because this journey through the spiritual world will reveal fascinating details about where the dead really are and what they're doing right now. Emmanuel, the spirit who guided Chico Xavier for decades, left clear and profound messages about the destinies of spirits, describing different planes of existence that adapt to each soul's level of evolution. These aren't just abstract theories or difficult-to-understand concepts. He spoke of real dimensions, ranging from places of learning and spiritual development to regions of rest, where the spirit finds relief and serenity after its earthly experience. Each destiny, according to Emmanuel, is determined by the actions, choices, and lessons we accumulate throughout life. It's a powerful idea that invites us to reflect on how we live today and the impact of our actions on our future journey. Have you ever experienced that feeling of someone you love being close to you, even though you know they're not there physically? Emmanuel explains that this closeness is natural. Evolving spirits can remain close to their loved ones, guiding, observing, and even helping at important moments without us realizing it. He also describes cases of spirits who, even after their departure, continue to learn valuable lessons, participate in missions, and fulfill tasks that contribute to the progress of their own spirit and those around them. This insight shows us that death is not an end, but a continuation full of meaning and purpose. In Chico Xavier's psychographed messages, you find concrete stories that illustrate these concepts. Spirits who suffered injustice in life can go through periods of reflection and learning, while those who are generous and loving find realms of greater peace and luminosity. Each spiritual plane has its own particularities, but they all share something in common: the opportunity for evolution. And the most fascinating thing is that these teachings don't remain merely theoretical. They invite us to reflect on our own choices, showing that what we do here directly influences our journey after death. Imagine, for a moment, the idea that no one is lost or forgotten. Each spirit continues its journey according to its needs, learnings, and responsibilities. Some remain close to family and friends, offering silent comfort and subtle signs of presence, while others move in directions that we, on the physical plane, may not be able to comprehend. Life after death, according to Emmanuel, is dynamic, full of opportunities for growth, understanding, and love. And understanding this completely changes how we deal with loss, grief, in the relationships we have here and now. Throughout this journey, you will realize that every detail Emmanuel reveals about the destinies of spirits is an invitation to see life more deeply, to appreciate each moment, and to understand that we are all connected, even beyond our physical existence. What you will discover next is just the beginning of this journey through the spiritual world. A path that helps us understand not only where the dead are, but also how their experiences continue to resonate and influence our lives in subtle and surprising ways. Have you ever wondered what happens to spirits after they leave their physical bodies? Do they simply disappear, or do they somehow continue to participate in the lives of those they loved? What you're about to discover may surprise you and completely change the way you view life and death. Stay with me until the end, because this journey through the spiritual world will reveal secrets that many people never dared to imagine. But that Emmanuel Chico Xavier's spirit guide, shared with clarity and depth. According to Emmanuel, life after death is not static. Spirits continue to learn, evolve, and, surprisingly, help those still on the physical plane. They don't just remain passively waiting, but perform missions, offer silent protection, and contribute to the spiritual progress of everyone around them. It's fascinating to think that, even without realizing it, our decisions and paths can be influenced by these presences, which act discreetly but intensely. Have you ever experienced moments when you felt an inexplicable presence or had a strong intuition that changed your decision? Emmanuel explains that these experiences can be signs of nearby spirits, acting to guide and protect us. These teachings lead us to reflect on the importance of living with awareness and love. If spirits continue to learn and evolve even after death, each of our actions here in the physical world has a direct impact on our own spiritual journey. Loving more, forgiving, helping others, seeking to understand others are not only noble actions, but paths that prepare the soul to move forward in its evolution. Emmanuel invites us to look at life more deeply, understanding that our choices shape not only our destiny, but also how we connect with the spiritual world. Some spirits remain closer than we imagine, silently acting in our daily lives. They can inspire us to make important decisions, comfort us in times of pain, or even warn us about paths we should avoid. It's a subtle, yet powerful presence. It's reminding us that life continues in a broader and more complex way than we can perceive with our physical senses. This connection between the living and the spirits reveals that we are all interconnected by an invisible network of learning, love, and evolution, where every action and every feeling has meaning. Imagine for a moment that every act of kindness you perform, every word of forgiveness you offer, every act of love you perform resonates not only in the physical world, but also on higher spiritual planes. Emmanuel explains that spirits observe learn, and often engage in subtle ways to support the growth of those who remain incarnate. It's as if the afterlife is a natural continuation of everything we do here, space for continuous learning and contributing to the greater good. As you watch this video, it's worth reflecting on the silent influence of these spirits on our daily lives. Perhaps you've felt signs, intuitions, or coincidences that you can't explain, but which gain meaning when we understand that consciousnesses evolve and interact with us even after leaving the physical body. And it is precisely this invisible, yet real, connection that we will explore below, revealing how spirits work, learn, and continue to impact our lives in ways that often go unnoticed, but which are fundamental to our understanding of life and love. Have you ever wondered how Emmanuel's messages, transmitted through Chico Xavier, can transform your life today while you still walk this earth? What if what you think is just a story about spirits and the afterlife could actually serve as a practical guide to improving your attitudes, your choices, and your relationships? Stay with me until the end, because what you'll discover now can open your eyes to a new way of seeing existence, bringing more meaning, love, and purpose to each day you live. Emmanuel's revelations are not just about the fate of spirits or what happens after death. They are teachings that invite us to reflect on how we live in the present. Every action, every decision, and every word have consequences that extend beyond the immediate moment, shaping not only our own path, but also invisibly influencing those around us. Imagine for a moment that every gesture of kindness, every act of forgiveness, or every demonstration of love is like a planted seed, capable of blossoming not only in your life, but in the lives of others, and even in more subtle spiritual planes, where departed spirits observe, learn, and in a way, accompany us. Have you ever experienced situations where you felt you could have done things differently? That a more loving or conscious choice would have changed something? Emmanuel shows us that these reflections are essential for the soul's growth. He teaches us that life is a constant opportunity for learning, and that the way we live today directly impacts our spiritual evolution and the legacy we leave to the world. Every act of compassion, every gesture of helping others, and every moment we choose to understand rather than judge builds a bridge between our earthly existence and the spiritual planes that await us. What makes these teachings even more fascinating is the idea that, even after death, spirits remain involved with those they loved and subtly influence the lives of those still incarnate. They accompany, guide, and often inspire positive changes without us even consciously realizing it. And it is precisely this understanding that invites us to act more consciously, to value love, empathy, and forgiveness in our daily lives. Thinking about the influence our ancestors, friends, and spiritual family can have on us helps us realize that life is richer and more interconnected than we imagine. So, what can you do today to evolve and help others? How can you transform small gestures into actions that not only benefit your life, but also create a positive impact on those around you? Emmanuel challenges us to reflect on this constantly, remembering that every choice made with awareness and love has real transformative power. This isn't just spiritual theory, but practical application, learning to love more, forgive sincerely, and act with kindness and integrity is key to creating a full and meaningful life, connected not only to the physical world, but also to the spiritual dimensions that accompany our journey. As you begin to perceive these invisible connections and the importance of the choices you make every day, hope naturally arises. Emmanuel's messages offer comfort, showing that life doesn't end with death and that each spirit continues to evolve. They remind us that by cultivating love, compassion, and understanding in the present, we are building a bridge of light that connects the material world with the spiritual, bringing peace, learning, and purpose to each moment we live. And it is precisely this profound and transformative connection that we will explore in more detail below, revealing how applying these teachings in our daily lives can change everything around us. And as you reflect on all this, consider how these messages from Emmanuel might resonate in your own life. Perhaps a word, a teaching, touched your heart in a way you didn't expect. Or perhaps it awakened memories and feelings that were dormant. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below with what touched you most, or a personal experience that connected with these ideas. Sharing your stories isn't just a gesture of expression. It's a way to create a community of people seeking understanding, comfort, and inspiration. And it is precisely this exchange that strengthens the message of hope that Emmanuel left us. And while you write, think, or reminisce, take the opportunity to like the video too. Your like is a small gesture, but it has a huge impact. It helps spread these messages to more people who, like you, are searching for answers, comfort, or learning. Each like helps keep this channel alive, active, and able to reach those who need to hear these words at the right time in their lives. Subscribing to the channel is another important step, because this is where you'll find more content that connects the spiritual world with our everyday reality. It's a way to ensure you don't miss the next reflection stories and teachings that can transform your daily life and bring more light and meaning to your journey. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and continue bringing knowledge and hope to more and more people. So, as you think about this, write your comment and connect with everything shared so far. Know that every gesture you make, whether commenting, liking, or subscribing, helps create a space for reflection, learning, and mutual support. It's as if together we're building an invisible bridge connecting hearts, experiences, and spirits, strengthening this network of light and understanding that Emmanuel so valued. And it's precisely in this spirit of connection that we will move forward, exploring even more deeply the secrets that life after death reveals to us, and how they can inspire us to live with greater awareness, love, and purpose. Have you ever stopped to think about what really happens when someone leaves this world? Death has always been surrounded by mysteries, secrets, and questions that defy our understanding. And it's natural for our hearts to seek answers that bring us comfort. But if I told you there's a world beyond what we see, full of activity, learning, and opportunities for evolution for those who have left their physical bodies, would you believe me? Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's spirit guide, left clear and profound messages that help us understand this reality, revealing details that go far beyond our usual ideas about life after death. And we're not just talking about abstract spiritual concepts. We're talking about experiences, learnings, and revelations that directly impact our daily lives and challenge us to reflect on who we are and what we leave behind. From Emmanuel's first contact with Chico Xavier, his communications stood out for their clarity, empathy, and ability to help us see existence in a new light. He didn't simply describe destinies or spiritual planes, but showed that each spirit continues its journey according to its choices, decisions, and learnings throughout life. Every action we take, every word we speak, every feeling we cultivate, love, anger, forgiveness, compassion, leaves a mark that transcends the physical and reverberates in the invisible realms. Imagine for a moment that our emotions and decisions are like ripples on a lake, expanding beyond what we can see and reaching other realities. This is one of the great revelations Emmanuel shared with Chico Xavier, demonstrating that death doesn't interrupt the journey, but simply transforms it. What makes these messages so impactful is the way Emmanuel manages to connect the spiritual world with our daily lives. He speaks of spirits as entities that continue to learn, help, and even influence those still incarnate. Some are closer than we imagine, silently acting in our lives, offering subtle signs, intuitions, or small encouragements that can alter the course of our decisions. Perhaps you felt something inexplicable, a chill at just the right moment, an unexpected memory, or a sense of presence you can't quite identify. According to Emmanuel, these experiences are not mere coincidences. They are part of the continuous interaction between the planes, a true behind-the-scenes of life that unfolds beyond human eyes. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because understanding the dynamics of spirits invites us to reflect on our own mindset, our choices, and how we approach life. If spirits continue to evolve, learn, and act after death, what does this tell us about the value of each decision we make here and now? Every gesture of kindness, every act of forgiveness, every opportunity to love sincerely carries an impact that goes far beyond what we can perceive. It is the hidden truth that our actions possess a power that transcends planes, influences destinies, and contributes to a network of continuous evolution, where no one is isolated and everything is connected. This understanding invites us to transform our perception of relationships, the importance of our actions, and the legacy we want to leave. And it is at this point that the reflection becomes even deeper. Spirits not only observe, but also learn and teach, each according to their own evolution. There is an invisible synchronicity between the physical world and the spiritual world, where learning never ends. It is a continuous process of expansion, reminding us that life is much greater than we imagine. Those who have passed on continue their journey, and even though we cannot see them, their experiences, their teachings, and their subtle presence continue to shape our path. This completely transforms the way we view death, showing that it is not an endpoint, but rather a transition to new chapters of learning, evolution, and connection. As we reflect on this, we can begin to realize that death actually reveals a continuity that impacts our daily lives. Every act of love, every conscious decision, every gesture of compassion is a way of interacting with this invisible world. Emmanuel shows us that the afterlife is dynamic, full of movement, learning, and possibilities for transformation, and that everything we do here has broader repercussions than we can grasp at first glance. The idea that each spirit continues its journey invites us to reflect on the responsibility we have for our own evolution, and how we treat others, and the legacy we wish to leave. And it is precisely at this point that we begin to see a new and powerful perspective on existence. Now, by imagining this interconnection between physical and spiritual life, between learning and evolution, between choices and consequences, we can realize how every detail of our journey matters, and how each moment is an opportunity for growth. Emmanuel inspires us to look at our own lives more attentively, with more compassion, and with a broader awareness of the impact we have, both on ourselves and on those around us, and even on those who have passed on and continue to influence us in silent and subtle ways. Comment there. I'm on this journey too. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to cross the line between the physical and spiritual worlds? Many imagine death as a final point, in absolute silence, but Emmanuel's messages, transmitted through Chico Xavier, reveals something completely different. Life continues intensely, organized and full of purpose, even when we leave our physical bodies. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding where spirits are and how they continue their journeys can transform not only how we view death, but also how we experience every decision, every choice, and every relationship in the present. According to Emmanuel, each spirit moves on to different planes of existence, which function almost like dimensions adapted to the level of learning and evolution achieved while incarnate. Some go to regions of rest and serenity, where they can reflect on their life experiences and regain strength, while others move on to more intense planes of learning, facing challenges and interacting with other spirits to continue their moral and spiritual evolution. These dimensions are not static places. They are living, dynamic territories full of movement and opportunities for growth. It's fascinating to think that, while we go about our daily routines, there is a true journey taking place behind the scenes in the spiritual world, with each spirit occupying a space suited to their own evolution to illustrate. Emmanuel shared with Chico Xavier several stories that show how spirits follow different paths. Depending on their actions in earthly life, a spirit who was generous, who practiced kindness and helped others, finds more serene and luminous realms, where they can contemplate what they learned and prepare for new stages of growth. Those who have faced conflict, made mistakes, or caused suffering may go through periods of reflection, learning, and self-awareness, where their experiences are analyzed and transformed into valuable lessons. This idea reinforces that each life is an opportunity for evolution, and that what we do here resonates far beyond what we can perceive with our physical senses. Imagine, for a moment, that every action, every word, and every emotion you've had throughout your life functions as a key that opens doors to different experiences on the spiritual planes. Emmanuel explains that there is no judgment in the punitive sense, but rather natural consequences of the choices we make. It's as if there were a hidden truth, a silent and just law, where each spirit follows its path according to its merits, learnings, and efforts to evolve. And it is precisely this perspective that allows us to understand death not as an end, but as a structured continuation of a larger journey, one that unfolds with purpose and meaning. Some of these dimensions are described as true centers of collective learning, where spirits help each other overcome mistakes, understand flaws, and develop virtues. In these places, exchange is constant, experiences are shared, and evolution occurs in community. Emmanuel recounts cases in which spirits who suffered in earthly life were able, in these planes, to understand the reasons for their experiences, feel compassion for themselves and others, and prepare for future stages with greater serenity and clarity. It is a profound dynamic that shows how each soul continues to shape and improve even after physical death, and how each step of this journey is decisive for its evolution. What makes this even more fascinating is realizing that the presence of these spirits on their respective planes can also manifest subtly in the physical world. Some remain close to family and friends, offering comfort, signs, intuitions, and small guidance that help with decision-making. It's almost as if there exists an invisible network, constant connection between the living and the departed, allowing learning and evolution to continue to influence everyone's lives harmoniously. This leads us to reflect on the responsibility of our own actions, on the impact our choices have not only on ourselves but also on the web of experiences that connect the physical and spiritual worlds. Thinking about spirits this way completely changes our perspective on death. Suddenly, each loss, each absence, ceases to be an absolute void and becomes a link in a larger journey, where evolution is continuous and each soul finds its place according to its effort, learning, and intention. Emmanuel helps us see that the spiritual world is not distant or inaccessible. It is present, active, and in constant movement. And understanding its plans also means understanding that our lives have profound and lasting consequences. By observing these dimensions and the way spirits continue their journey, we begin to perceive a subtle but powerful logic that reveals that evolution is not just a spiritual concept, but a practical reality that can influence our mindset, our decisions, and how we relate to the world. Every gesture of love, every opportunity for learning, and every reflection we cultivate here resonates on levels we often cannot see, but which have a real and ongoing impact. Comment there. Does that make sense to me? Have you ever stopped to imagine what it would be like to realize that life doesn't end with death, but rather becomes a continuous journey of learning, evolution, and contribution? Emmanuel Chico Xavier's Spirit Guide reveals to us that spirits don't simply disappear. They remain active, evolving morally and spiritually, fulfilling missions, helping the living, and participating in a network of subtle interactions that transcends the limits of what we can see. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding how spirits operate today, even after leaving the physical body, can alter our perception of existence and transform the way we live, love, and make decisions. According to Emmanuel, life after death is dynamic. Departed spirits are not in a state of inactivity, but in constant movement, learning, and improvement. Some are involved in tasks of assisting other spirits, others observe and guide the incarnate, while many still participate in the construction of plans for collective evolution, always within a logic of justice, learning, and growth. This understanding completely changes the way we view death and invites us to reflect on how our own actions impact not only the present, but a dimension beyond the physical. Life, then, is not an isolated path, but a journey of impact, where our choices echo and connect different realities. It's fascinating to think that some spirits are closer than we imagine, silently acting in our daily lives. Perhaps you felt strong intuitions, that feeling of being watched or protected, or even subtle signs that you can't rationally explain. Emmanuel teaches us that these small moments can be manifestations of attentive spirits, offering support, guidance, or simply a presence. A kind of invisible background that influences our decisions and inspires us to act more consciously. It's an idea that provokes an internal transformation, as it makes us realize that our lives don't exist in isolation, but are connected to an invisible network of continuous learning and evolution. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because there's a hidden truth we often overlook. Spirits continue to learn from their own experiences, constantly evolving, and their silent actions influence the world of the living in ways we often can't measure, but which are real. Every gesture of love, every opportunity to forgive, every ethical or compassionate decision made here on earth reverberates meaningfully, connecting us to this network of spiritual interactions and expanding our impact on the world. It's a perspective that leads us to rethink our mindset, becoming more aware of the power of our choices and the effect they have on the continuity of life and the evolution of souls. This reflection also helps us realize that love and compassion are not just virtues that benefit ourselves or other incarnate beings. They directly impact the spiritual journey of those who have passed. Emmanuel describes situations in which spirits still undergoing learning processes can benefit from the positive energy we emanate through our actions, becoming part of a cycle of transformation and mutual evolution. Each conscious action becomes a cog in a vast machine that connects the living and the dead, the physical and the spiritual, in a symphony of learning and growth. It's as if the behind-the-scenes nature of everyday life were, in fact, a series of complex and profound interactions that affect multiple planes simultaneously. Thinking about this continuity challenges us to reflect on our own choices and the responsibility we carry. If our actions reverberate in both the physical and spiritual worlds, how can we allow ourselves to live without conscience, impatience, or disrespect? Emmanuel inspires us to consider each moment as an opportunity for evolution. It's not only for ourselves, but for all those who connect with us directly or indirectly, whether incarnate or discarnate. The idea that our lives influence an invisible network invites us to act with more love, compassion, attention, and integrity, recognizing that even small gestures have a real impact. And as we reflect on this, we begin to realize that the presence of spirits, though subtle, is more intertwined with our daily lives than we imagine. Their lessons and guidance, often silent, help us make more balanced decisions, deal with challenges more calmly, and recognize learning opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. It's an invitation to open our eyes, minds, and hearts to the invisible reality that surrounds us and the wisdom it offers. Transforming our perception of the world and ourselves, comment there. I'm on this journey too. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how knowledge of life after death can change the way you live today? We often view life as a sequence of isolated events, momentary decisions, and seemingly random challenges. But Emmanuel's messages show us that everything has purpose and impact. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding these lessons goes beyond curiosity about the fate of spirits. They invite us to transform our mindset, our attitudes, and the way we relate to the world and the people around us. When we understand that spirits continue to learn, evolve, and help the living, we realize that every decision we make, every act of kindness, every word of forgiveness or compassion not only shapes us, but profoundly influences the environment around us. This insight expands our sense of responsibility and awakens us to a journey of personal transformation. Life, then, ceases to be merely a sequence of immediate tasks or goals, and becomes a continuous process of evolution, where each moment carries the possibility of growth, connection, and positive impact. Imagine for a moment that every action you take, every choice made with love, patience, or understanding, acts like a seed that spreads beyond what the eye can see. Emmanuel explains that these actions reverberate on spiritual planes and influence other beings, incarnate or not, promoting learning, healing, and harmony. The idea is powerful, as it transforms simple, everyday decisions into opportunities to leave a lasting legacy, to create invisible bridges between worlds, and to act as agents of evolution. Life, then, becomes a series of revelations, where each interaction can be a practical lesson in love, forgiveness, and awareness. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because realizing this interconnection between physical and spiritual life leads us to reflect on how we can apply these teachings in practice. What can you do today to evolve, help others, and create a positive impact on the world around you? Perhaps it's offering sincere attention to someone in need, forgiving someone who has caused you pain, or simply acting with more empathy in everyday situations. It's these small, conscious decisions that shape not only your path, but also the energy you share with everyone around you, including those who have passed on and continue to observe and learn from our journey. Emmanuel reminds us that life is a continuous opportunity for growth. Every act of love or compassion, no matter how discreet it may seem, has the power to generate transformation, opening invisible doors to experiences of learning, connection, and expansion. Thinking this way changes our perspective on relationships, conflicts, and daily choices. Suddenly, every challenge becomes an invitation to evolve. Every relationship becomes a chance to practice understanding, and every difficult moment is perceived as an opportunity to exercise patience and wisdom. It's a shift in mindset that makes us look at life with more attention, care, and meaning. The beauty of this reflection lies in the simplicity of the impact we can generate. Grand gestures or extraordinary feats aren't necessary. Sometimes a smile, a kind word, a gesture of forgiveness, or an act of solidarity can resonate deeply, reaching places we can't imagine. Emmanuel inspires us to see that even in small, everyday actions, there is an opportunity for continuous transformation, connecting the visible world with the invisible, creating a web of learning, evolution, and hope. This understanding brings us comfort and security, because it makes us realize that we are not alone and that our actions have real and lasting meaning. Now, as I reflect on all this, it's impossible not to think about our own legacy and what we want to leave for the world. And for those who follow us on this journey, life becomes more conscious, more connected, and more purposeful when we internalize these lessons. It's an opportunity to act with courage, empathy, and love, knowing that each choice carries weight and relevance, not only for ourselves, but for the entire web of lives intertwined with ours, physically and spiritually. Comment there. That makes sense to me, and if you've made it this far, I want to thank you for following every reflection and detail we've shared about life after death and Emmanuel's lessons. This kind of content only makes sense when we find people who are truly open to reflecting, feeling, and connecting with these ideas. So if you've resonated with everything we talked about, leave a comment like, "I'm with you until the end," or "This message was for me," so I know you've been along for the ride. And if this conversation touched your heart, please like the video. It's not just a gesture. It's a way to strengthen this connection, show that these messages make a difference in the lives of those who watch, and help keep this channel active, bringing ever more reflections, stories, and lessons that can transform the daily lives of those seeking guidance, comfort, or inspiration. If you feel like continuing to explore this universe of learning and discovery, there's a video here that complements this topic. Click and follow along. It's an opportunity to delve even deeper into this topic, gain new perspectives, and discover how to apply Emmanuel's teachings to your life in a practical and meaningful way. And of course, if you're not already a part of this space, subscribing to the channel is a way to ensure you'll be able to follow all the reflections and stories we'll share. As we build this journey of learning, connection, and evolution together, with each video we strive to continue opening doors to knowledge, understanding, and hope, and having you along on this journey makes all the difference.